And we're back with another episode of the Rob J Show. Hey, now today is a special guest, man, from the neighborhood. His brother is a legendary athlete on the Southwest. More than just that, though, he's Bennie Brazell, Olympian. Football player, played at LSU, played in the NFL. Is now focused on giving back through coaching, and he's a coach at LSU track, specializing in the hurdles. And man, it's a pleasure to have you here in studio, man.
Man, thanks for having me, Rob J. Man, much love. I know we go way back, man. Thanks for having me here on the show. I'm honored, my brother.
Hey, man, it's a blessing to have you here, man. I remember, man, back in ninth grade, Westbury freshman football, man. He was a Mari Cooper, man. You know what I'm saying? I was Beasley, man. Hey, you was
1-2 punch, huh?
Yeah, man. Hey, but it was more like 1-4 punch, but hey, man, I can say I can take pleasure in saying I'm the only person on Westbury freshman football team other than Bennie Brazell to have a reception freshman year.
You got that.
So I think he might have had like 40 receptions. I might have had 4. But hey, you know what I'm saying? I got my 4,
Larry Williams was our coach, right?
Yeah, it was coach. Yeah, we had Nick DeBose, safety, JB, and Dunn kind of rotating at quarterback.
Yeah. And Larry Williams was our head coach. I remember that. Wow, go way back.
Those are the days, man.
Yes, sir.
I so wish I would have stayed at Westbury and just got a chance to see that play develop and would have got a chance to hopefully have been a senior and play that Bertram role or something, man.
Got you.
Man, I think about it all the time. But, man, it's amazing how things, winded up, working out for you, man. Yeah. And you've been able to dominate both in football and in track. Like, which one do you feel like was your passion if you had to pick one?
People always ask me that question, and it's really both. I love competing, man. When it was football season, it was football. Like, when it was football season, I was thinking about track. Can't wait. Now, when it was track season, I'm thinking about can't wait to get back to football. You know what I mean? So it kind of went both and both. I love both of them, man.
Man, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up, man. I remember when we used to be going to track meets, man, and man, just seeing you run even back then. I think the first time I saw you run, it was like an 8th grade meet or something, and it was like West. I was like, man, that dude's pretty fast, man. But when we started traveling and we were at Westbury, it was like we would be just at a track meet and stuff, and I remember you and Brian Hickman, it would be just like y'all, it was just like this supreme confidence. It was like y'all was just chilling, like, yeah, man, we having fun. Look at over there, yeah, I'm about to go wreck these boys. And I would be chilling with y'all too. Like, I would be having the same conversation, like, yeah, man, chilling, man, I'm about to go wreck these boys. But it wouldn't happen like that. Like, I had to work really hard, man. I earned that freshman 3rd place in district, man. But it was so effortless for you, man. Like, how much of that do you feel like was just a natural gift, and how much of that do you feel like was just like effort, man? Because I did the same drills you was doing, man.
True. I think at the most part, it's hard work and dedication. That's one thing, Rob. But I think it goes way back to the childhood. Growing up, where we grew up at West Airport and Fundren, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like the minute that I had when I was younger, like I really wasn't that fast when I was younger. People don't realize it. I used to get like last place when I was 7 to 8 years old, you know what I'm saying? But my mom, being a single parent at the time, she never did knock me down. That's not good, that suck. She just said, don't worry about it, just keep working, you'll get better and better and better. And I really appreciate her for that. So that kept me to just keep pushing. And next thing you know, once I got to 9th grade, like you said, it just kind of started clicking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I felt like I already had been through the trenches already, so I was able to adapt to it and just go ahead and compete. And then I think, too, the environment, once you got the Westbury, the name stands for itself. All the people that we had come through, especially the great hurlers we already had, you know what I mean? So I think we just had to just go with that and just keep working and grinding, but don't get it twisted. I used to get my head beat in from the beginning, so.
That's, I'm going to be honest, that's surprising to hear, because you said that. It's funny, I had Carlos Hurd on here, and he talked about how it's like his first 3 or 4 years, them losing almost every game.
I dogged him too, one-on-one, ask him about that.
Okay, I'm going to have to tag him in that post, this part. But it's surprising to hear, because I never saw that last place, but all I saw was the first place, and it just seemed effortless.
It took a long time, man, and people don't realize. I almost quit track too growing up, because I kept getting beaten the hurdles, like last, I'm like, man, I'm finna be done with this. But I just stuck with it, just that want the will and just keep fighting, man. And I think I appreciate my mom, my family, and then my friends too. You got to realize, me, Mark, Nick, and Brad, we always kind of close, so they kind of kept me, for the most part. But just, I think you had to suffer for some losses to gain it, and that's what it was.
No, that's real, man. That's real. And one of the unique things about the Southwest side is that we all live in this close radius, but there's a lot of different lives going on in the same 1 or 2 mile circumference. You got some people that are living, two-parent homes, dad working oil or something, and then like literally you got other people like in your situation where single-parent home, like just really having a grind, man. Like how much do you think like the struggle, you know what I'm saying, really assisted you in your growth?
Man, you say that took me back, way back. All I could think about is Westbury Port and Fundra, like we said, but like growing up in Greenhouse Patio, man, like my mom, just the grind, 3 jobs, wasn't able to come see the track meet sometime, wasn't able to come watch me play football because she had to work. So I think that gave me that extra drive, you know what I'm saying? But you guys don't realize y'all helped out too because y'all stayed in Fun Meadow, right?
Yeah.
When we used to come over there and see y'all neighborhood and hang with you guys, it was like, okay, that made us want to work and grind even more. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
So I think that kind of helped out as well too because you guys back then with us, we used to drive the bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
I drive the bike to Fun Meadow. I come over there, chill, play basketball, we play football, do all those type of things. But it kind of got you away from all that type of environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, most definitely, man. Most definitely. You're right, man. Like, hey, you just brought back a memory about them bikes, man.
Yeah, man, we did that all the time, man.
The bikes everywhere.
We
man.
outside all day going to the pool. You remember that? The Fun Meadow pool, that was the thing to do,
Yeah, man. Well, and I didn't even realize, like, now that you say that like, you know what I'm saying, the neighborhood was to an extent, a lot of times to some of the surrounding areas, it was kind of an escape. I never really looked at it like that.
Fun Meadow was the way to get away from, we can be closed in, we good, we have to worry about no crazy stuff,
Yeah, because, I feel like Fun Meadow was the last place in America where you could have the one-on-one fight.
That's it. It's all good.
Nobody, no jumping.
We shake hands after we move on.
It was a lot of honor amongst the ratchetness there.
Yeah. Times have changed though, huh?
Oh, man. Times have changed. Like seriously, man. But nah, that's awesome, man. So when we I knew you was balling, and I wasn't surprised to hear like that things like was took off for you on the field. But like, how did that happen? Like post like 9th grade, like okay.
So what happened? We started doing. We played freshman football. Sophomore year came 10th grade, so I played JV football, of course. But my sophomore year, I made the state in track though. Okay. So that was kind of a like, wow, okay, that was pretty cool. And junior year came, I never forget it. That summertime, you know how we do like 7-on-7 in the summertime? And I was wondering, like, I didn't know what it was going to be. Like, am I playing JV again? Am I on varsity? I don't know how it was going to go with Coach Campbell, I never forget, like, that summertime going into my junior year, we had played 7-on-7 against Madison, and I did pretty good, I guess, in the summertime. And Coach Campbell was like, well, you definitely got a spot on varsity now. But now I'm thinking like, wow, I was going to play JV 2 years in a row, but it is what it is. But like I said, I went to my junior year, I played varsity, and that's when everything just started, man. Made it work the best I can. Of course, it wasn't as easy. We had a lot of situations that I had to get through adversity, but I didn't complain about it. I just kept fighting, man, and thank God it worked out for me, man.
No, that's awesome, man.
And then that junior year, too, you got to realize that was like the first team that beat Madison. Westbury, we never beat Madison, so that junior year was the first year that we finally had beat them with JoJo Vaughn as our quarterback.
Man, that's awesome, man. Yeah. That's awesome. Westbury was a unique program. Like when I got to New Orleans, I realized it was kind of a lot different because out there, they just throw everybody on varsity.
Oh yeah.
So it's like they don't. Now, granted, the schools aren't as big.
Not at all.
But like they don't take it as a badge of honor to be on varsity. Yeah. Like they to them everybody plays varsity. Yeah, exactly. Like I used to explain to them. The only reason I stopped playing was because football it's different when you're not with your friends.
I get it.
So just
what high school you went to in New Orleans?
Edna Carr.
What you know about Edna Carr, man? Okay.
Actually, which had a dominant football program.
They still do.
Yeah, still, man. And they put. One thing I say, they got the same spirit as Westbury as far as the commitment to getting kids to play in college.
Gotcha.
And I looking back, I really wish I would have been a part of that program because it was like, but honestly, coming from Texas and kind of maybe having Texas arrogance, it almost looked at it like almost the way I would look at like a middle school type of program because it was so much smaller.
Of course,
it wasn't like Westbury where you earn. Like, man, it was a badge of honor to say, like, hey, I played varsity. That meant something. But out there, it was like, you sign up, you on varsity.
You on varsity.
You might be on the bench, but everybody's on varsity, So it was just a little bit different. But no, that's amazing, man. So while you're making this progress, on the field, you make state your sophomore year. And then, so I'm guessing junior year, you back at state on the track?
Yes, I made it back my junior year. I won my junior and senior year. So basically, my junior and senior year, when it came to the 300 hurdles, I was never beat. I went undefeated 2 years in a row. My sophomore year, I felt like I should have won, but I hit a hurdle. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I cried. Because but I felt like back then, I was happy to be there. You know what I mean? I wasn't really prepared for the big moment my sophomore year. So maybe I needed to go through that. But like I said, that's one thing that always stuck with me. And it worked out.
No, that's what's up, man. And I think, man, I was surprised. Honestly, like, I was surprised more people from Westbury didn't, I found it hard to imagine that there was a program or there was a school that had people faster than people at Westbury.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, especially the girls, like, I just knew that, like, some of those girls was going to be, like, the next Flojo or the next, and I mean, and I don't know, that might just be, Southwest arrogance where you think, like, no one could be, no one is not possible. Because I could not fathom in my head the idea of a school having faster people. Like, not in Houston, in Texas, anywhere. I was just like, I was so amazed with the talent level, but...
Well, Forest Brook always had a good team, too, for females back then, too. You know what I'm saying?
Is that on the north side?
Yeah, it's on the north side.
Okay.
So, but they were 4A, though, so they never had to compete 5A against Westbury, so it's a little different.
Okay.
But Miss Brimmer held it down for a long time, man. She did a great job getting that program together with those Westbury girls, and I mean, they still know. They still legacy, still know. I know they still got records at LSU now. So to this day, high school, of course.
Man, that's what's up. And did you wind up setting a state record?
Yes, sir. I did set a state record. What year was that? My senior year, I went 35.5, I think. Yeah, 35.5. So yeah,
wow,
I broke that record.
Does that record still stand?
No, it got broken a couple years ago. It's still a Westbury record, but it got broken like some years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think who broke it? You know what? I think RG3 broke it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he broke the record back then. But yeah, it was 35.5 and RG3. I remember that. I think he broke it.
Man, I think I might have saw it. He went to like Copper's Cove.
So, one of them schools like that, and he broke it,
Man, that's what's up, man.
Yeah, but I think back then, like you saying, though, it's just the vision. I mean, like you said, we had Brian, but it was Chris, too, Chris Hickman.
Yeah.
You got to realize that was like that was my big brother as well, too.
Yeah.
So you got to realize we kind of like learned a lot from Chris while watching him and what he doing, whatever, and just taking us under his wing. And you know how you said you never really, it's kind of surprised you didn't think a lot more people would be in, like, once they got to the next level after Westbury. But one thing Chris taught us about the grades, which that was more important. We really didn't know about, especially on, West Up, run Fundra, Greenhouse Patio. We didn't talk about no grades. My mama never did really ask about, like, where's your report card and nothing like that. At the end of the day, you still playing sports, so that means you must be passing. So that's all I really care about,
Yeah.
But we thought, in my time, I thought it was cool just to make a 70. I make a 70, I'm passing. What we talking about? I'm good. But not knowing that wasn't good, like in the major courses, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like Chris was the one that kind of helped us out with that type of stuff. Chris and Chris Cunningham, I got to give those guys credit by telling you, like, about the TOS test, the SAT, all that type of stuff, and I really appreciate them guys for that, man.
Nah, because Clearinghouse, that's what I was trying to tell my little cousin is like, man, Clearinghouse got a whole nother standard. It don't matter what them coaches telling you. Like, you don't pass that Clearinghouse standard, you're not playing.
And we didn't have and I feel like back then, and we can't blame some of the coaches at Westbury because maybe they didn't know as well, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it wasn't nobody like guiding us, you know what I'm saying? Miss Brimmer and Coach Blanks, they taught us what they knew, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for the most part, you had to really like go through a counselor. You had to really be on your own to make that stuff kind of work. But at the same time, they really didn't know what was going on back then.
Yeah, man, most definitely, man. And I follow Chris Cunningham on IG, and man, he's still a beast to this day. I think he just did like a CrossFit thing, man. He's still a monster.
He's still a monster, a regular season monster, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I give him a hard time in football. He was good regular season, but playoff time he was, he wouldn't.
Hey, I'm gonna stay out of that.
Yeah,
man.
you good though.
I don't want no smoke.
That's okay.
Cunningham.
It's cool.
That's all him, man.
He's still a legend though. I still look up to him.
Don't put as CMC, man. Don't put that on the pit. Don't put that on the Raw. Put that on the Bennett.
You good, Chris? I love you, Chris. The comment.
Yeah, man. But that's what's up, man. Yo, what kept you from detouring? Like a lot of talents, around the West, just kind of got sidetracked with a lot of stuff. Girls, drink, partying, boxing.
Good question. That's a great question, man. So again, like you said, where I came from, like the Westbury Port and Fundra Park, Greenhouse Patio. So you know what was going on in my area. You know what I'm saying? Like it was what it was. But one thing I think it was growing up. I feel like I grew up fast too, Rob. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like these days kids don't have people they really look up to. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they call it jocking. Or I want to be I'm jocking them. Me, I didn't see it that way. I feel like it could have went either way, streets, or it could have went the other route, which it did now, like the positive way. But back in our time, we had the OGs over there in Greenhouse Patio that kind of basically said, hey, get your ass to school. Like, go to class, get your grades. Don't be doing that type of, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I feel like this generation is different. I feel like OGs don't lead the kids the right way as they did with us back then. Like, you couldn't be on the street. Like, take your ass to class or you can get beat up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we had, like, the proper teaching back then with those type of guys. We got to appreciate them guys, too, for helping us. Even though they weren't doing they wasn't doing the right thing, but they still was helping us out in a positive way. So at the end of the day, I still look up to those guys too because they could have always been a bad influence, but they were positive in that way. You know what I mean?
No, that's what's up. That's definitely what's up, man.
I always told myself, man, I feel like I wanted more. You know what I mean? I just want to work. I want to grind. I see my mama busting her ass with these 2-3 jobs, man. I know, like, I this is my way out of here. And I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not a street guy, you know. But I mean, I am from that area. I ain't stupid, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is the route I wanted to go, you know what I mean? But it could have been so easy. It could have went the other route so easy. We talk about that all the time for all of us. And then it's who you surround yourself with, your friends.
Most definitely.
So thank God for my circle I had. We were all those type of guys. I mean, we were all lived in those type of environments, but at the end of the day, we didn't want to go that route.
No, most definitely, man. I always say, man, that self-awareness is key, man.
Gotta have it.
Just knowing who you are, you know, and it'll, you know, if you know who you are, your spirit will guide you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'll just, you know, and every time I done something that didn't feel right, you know, almost every dumb decision I made, it didn't feel right.
You knew it.
Like, going into the decision.
You knew it.
So, man, like, just trusting that, man, is real, man.
Oh, yeah, big time.
When you were coming along, too, and you know, progressing, doing your thing, you done won state, balling, what's the recruiting process like, man?
Recruiting process was crazy back then because it was weird, Rob. It was real weird back then. I mean, we knew that what was going on for like, I went to state my sophomore year, right? So people really didn't know too much about football going into my junior year until after like the Madison game. The big games I did really good in. The games that count, I shined. So the big games that I did good in, you had the football scouts there.
Okay.
So once they seen that, everything just exploded, you know? So schools coming left and right to Westbury, recruit me, for its calls and everything. And that was pretty much it. I just enjoyed the process and went through it. But again, like I told you, I had guys like Chris Cunningham. I had guys like, you know, Chris Hickman that taught me, you know, this is what the whole game was going to be with all that. So they kind of got me on my feet on that type of stuff.
That's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up, man. You sound like you always, even at a young age, you were surrounding yourself with wise counsel.
Yes.
For whatever decision that you were about to make.
But streets and coming, though, both sides. So I think that's one thing you got to have. You know, I think, like, I know my son now, you know, I think he's really smart. Yeah. Straight A student, all A's and B's.
That's what's up.
I wasn't that type of, not at all, you know. He got me beat, you know, when it comes to, the book sense. But common sense is a whole different, you know what I mean? You can't go to school for that. I think that's something you got to just learn if that makes sense in certain situations.
No, most definitely. And I think, man, that wise counsel, though, too, man, just having that, you know, having those people that can kind of help guide you through a decision, man, because I done had some wise counsel really talk me out of dumb decisions, steer me in the right direction with good decisions. And you got some idiots in your circle. You start getting advised by idiots, man. You could do some real damage to yourself, man.
It was terrible. It was going bad 8th grade, Rob J. People don't realize I made straight 50s. I'm not ashamed to. I was terrible. 8th grade, I almost didn't get to this point. I was terrible in middle school at Welch. I was making straight 50s. I flunked off everything. And you know, back then we had a rule in Texas to where you got to give a kid a 50. He might make a 20 or a 10, but you got to give him a 50. You know what I mean? That was the rule. Yeah, that's how that rule was. So I never forget, I was going through the change with that. Just wasn't being my own man. I was being a follower. Just stupid stuff that I was just learning at the time, just trying to find myself. But at the end of the day, the worst thing ever that changed my life with that everything is that 8th grade, I didn't graduate.
Wow, okay.
So I didn't graduate from Welch my 8th grade year. All my boys graduated, you know? And you know how you kind of laugh like, it's all right, it's all good. But in the inside, that shit hurt. You know what I mean? No matter how you try to fake that wasn't cool. Like, all your boys graduated and you can't even graduate. And then what made it worse, that last week of school, you got all those activities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, they sent me a letter saying, just stay home for the week. And I feel like my mom, that's who I let down the most. I couldn't, that bothered me. Like, my mama working her ass off. 3 jobs, busting her ass, trying to make it work for us. And I'm making her straight 50s. So what happened after that 8th grade year, I had to go to summer school. And Larry Williams, Coach Williams was the teacher, and he had like a real man talk with me back then. I never forget it to this day. I appreciate it, you know? No doubt. And basically, I had to go to summer school and make like all A's and B's just to make it to 9th grade, which I did. I got through it, but I really appreciate Coach Williams, Larry Williams, for like pulling me to the side and having that man-to-man talk with me.
No, that's real, man.
And ever since then, I got to Westbury that 9th grade year, and I told myself I'd never put myself in that situation again. And the rest is history, man. It's a blessing.
No, that's what's up, man. And you know, you had the wherewithal even at 8th grade age to only need to have that talk once. I know, you know, some brothers who had that talk popped up, you know, a lot of times, and they just never never received it, man.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know, one thing though, man, that I think a lot of times is a blessing. I always say, if I could change one thing about my childhood, I would have suffered more. And I think sometimes when you have a lot to lose, when you have that mind working through that, when you don't know, you know, man, I follow his brother Wallow267 on Instagram. He did 20 years, and in 1 year being out the pen, now he's like a renowned motivational speaker, whatever. But he just talk about like, this is my last chance at life. And sometimes when you don't have that support cushion, it makes you kind of receive knowledge a little better than when you know that, hey, even if I mess up again, you know, hey, I'm Dr. Mayberry's grandson. It don't matter, you know. But so, man, that's real that you were able to take that message in 8th grade and put it in play instantly, man.
Yeah.
And man, I think the amount of time between you receiving valuable information and using it is vital. Like if someone tell you something and you immediately put it in play, that's like perfect, you know. Some of us though, man, we got to hear it 50, 11 times.
Yeah, you know, we all learn in a different way. And like I said, I'm coaching now. I see it. It's the same thing. It's the same cycle. And it's funny how that works.
Wow. Okay. So getting into LSU, once you picked there and like balling out there and doing a track thing, like, what was that experience like? What's it like to be an athlete at LSU, man?
Man, it was a really great experience, man. And I think what made it really good for me at LSU, me and Joe Adai, we went to LSU together, so we kind of made that decision together. We're going to go to LSU together. So basically, you know how some people go to college, it's just them?
Yeah.
I had him, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, if things got bad, I was able to go, you know, talk with him, be with him, you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. So we were able to help each other out through that process. But, man, when you're a two-sport athlete at LSU, especially football and, of course, track program, man, it's one of the greatest experiences ever. That's all I can tell you, man. I mean, it's pretty simple. And what's funny with me, when I first got to LSU, right, like coming from our area, you know, we had guys that had opportunities to go to college, but they wouldn't go.
Yeah.
They rather stay home and stay on the street, you know what I mean? So I thought that was weird when I first got to LSU. I'm like, I'm having a blast. Ain't no way. I don't know why they don't want to go to college. This is fun. Like, this is where it's at. All I got to do is, they paying me to go to school and play football and run track. That's basically how I looked at it. And I'm getting all these meals. I got this nice apartment. I'm not going back home.
Yeah.
So that's how that type of experience was. But that whole process, man, of course you had to go through some adversity. I know with me, everything wasn't going good at the beginning with football. Not at all. Like, it was going terrible. It got to the point I almost quit football at LSU, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So track was going good, though. My freshman year, we won a national championship. So you still had to deal with some type of adversity. But that's why I feel like those childhood experiences, greenhouse patio, growing up, helped me get through some of that adversity experience. So I know, like, in my freshman year in track, I basically got embarrassed a couple track meets, like, super embarrassed. Walked down 4x1 relays, you know, ankle leg, walked down big time. But I came into it like I'm this freshman.
Yeah.
I'm good in track, ain't nobody, you know. I got humbled, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of made me go back to the drawing boards, and I had to, like, go ahead and work on my craft a little bit more. You couldn't just be fast, because everybody here is fast. Yeah. Same thing with football. Everybody here in football is good. You got to do something extra to get you over the top, you know? So I think as far as dealing with that adversity, I got embarrassed a couple of times. And I never forget, one of my teammates, Walter Davis, was like, they were talking like, we're going to win this when it counts, trust me, you know? But they like, shit, not a Benny on there. We ain't finna do, you know?
Oh, man.
And I was like the weak link. So it's like,
wow.
I feel like I had to deal with that. But I had nobody like to talk to. You know what I mean? I had like my roommates and Joe and them to talk to. But as far as like track, I didn't really know none of those guys like that. So I didn't have nobody to... You know, usually you got to tap somebody on the back. Don't worry about it. You're going to get them. We'll get them straight next time. But it wasn't like that. It was tough love. You know what I mean? But I appreciate those guys, too, because I had to get on my game. And make a long story short, we did win.
That's crazy, though. For me to hear about you being a weak link, that's like me, you know, that's like hearing about Roy Jones getting knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Because I like I said, like I held your talent in a light where it was like, you know, I don't see, you know.
It wasn't high school no more. I had to learn that. And thank God I went through it. So I'm able to help out kids now. A guy that could be really good coming out of high school, he's thinking he's blase, but then he get to college. He get beat for the first time, and he's really good. Yeah. Some guys don't rebound from that. You know, I'm going to tell you that now on the college level. Think about it. A guy's been winning all his life. Middle school, high school, never been beat. But he get to college, and he gets beat that first time. How does he deal with that adversity?
Man.
Does he quit? Does he keep fighting? You know, or, you know, some guys can't take it. I see some guys get beat. They can never adapt to that ever again. You know?
Just like, man, I mean.
Never been through hard, but I feel like those hard times going through in life, they help you get through that experience. Like, my mama never quit, so I know I can't quit. So
You know,
There
like,
it is.
on a like kind of little off topic side note, I'm excited about the Charlo twin who just lost. Even though he shouldn't, even though he really won that fight.
Yeah, of course.
But I just love the story. Like to me, I've never been amazed with the perfection story. Like I like the story of the guy who comes back and takes what was rightfully his, man. So
what you know about Lions Only?
Oh man, hey man, I'll be swagger jacking that whole hashtag.
I love it. I love it. I'm a big time boxing fan. You know what I mean? So I like the Charlo twins as well.
Yeah, man.
But I'm a big time boxing fan. I grew up with boxing, and I got with boxing. You know why, right?
Why?
Mr. Michael.
Okay.
Brian them's daddy.
Okay.
Brian and Chris daddy.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Michael, the one that put us down. Like every time back then when big fights came on, we always went to Fundamental to watch the fights.
Oh wow, okay.
So now that's been triggered over me to this point now. Whenever a big fight is on pay-per-view, I'm ordering it. You know, it reminds me of Mr. Mike because he put us on that kind of stuff.
That's all. Hey man, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's real.
You know they say it takes a village to raise a child. I really believe in that. It takes a whole village.
Most def, man. And you've been able to really have some real experiences, man.
Bless,
really
man.
just kind of feel like made you like a super well-rounded person.
Yeah.
One thing I always felt about track, I guess, you know, as a sport, is the fact that, like, you know, I always felt like it's so much. Like, can a person get good at track if you like? Because you know, I feel like okay, if I'm playing you in basketball, right? I might know like, yeah, you are levels above me, but there's still a chance I could throw up a shot that might go in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still like the luck element. I feel like it's almost impossible to beat somebody at track that's better than you. Like, there's no amount of training I could do to make me beat you at the 300 hurdles.
I think it just depends, you know, because sometimes, you know, a guy, I might be beating you at that time, but I might be peaked out. You still got some more reps to get better at. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You haven't peaked yet. You're still trying to get to that point. So at the same time as that, I feel like you got like, back then you had like some kids already doing like college workouts, but they're in high school.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So think about it. You already doing these college workouts and professional workouts. By the time you get to a point of years you get older, you're going to peak out.
Okay.
Me, I'm just starting doing the basic stuff, just getting there. I ain't got to that point yet. So eventually, I'm going to eventually catch up to you. And sometimes when it gets to that point, I'll eventually pass you.
Okay.
Because you already peaked out.
I do. Okay. So like it's about like almost like just peaking at the right time.
Yeah, peaking at the right time.
Okay.
So
I always saw track and dancing. Track, dancing, and singing was the three things I feel like you got to be born with.
Nah, man. I mean, people say you got to be born with speed. I'm with you on some of this, but at the same time, you do got to work and grind on it. You got to.
Nah, most definitely, man. And what fueled you when you go from, you know, being undefeated for 2 years in the 300 hurdles, and then now you all of a sudden you're at LSU and you're being looked at as the weak link? Like how did that not break you? Or
man, it did. You just had to have those talks with yourselves, man. You just had to. You had to grind and talk with yourself because it wasn't easy. I feel like it wasn't easy either. Like I feel like track is a pressure sport. Let's keep it real. I think that's one of the most pressure sports you can be in because it's just you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And especially if you always winning. So people expect like you to keep winning, you know what I mean? So it's like if you lose, it's like, oh man, you know what I mean? So you always got to stay on your game because I feel like from my junior year on up, people were always trying to beat me, you know what I mean? I mean, let's be real, Brian, that's my brother. So we always competed against each other, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like he always kept me on my toes. I could never take a day out because I know that he working. Like, I know what he doing after practice, you know what I mean? So I know I got to go home and do some extra reps too. You know, I got to do my whole thing. I got to go for my little jog at nighttime. People don't realize I had like 3 hurdles in my backyard, right?
Yeah.
So at nighttime, once I finish everything, I'm in the backyard working on my craft, you know, boom, boom.
But when it's like but when people are calling you the weak link, like how do you respond to that? Like,
that was a terrible feeling because I never had to go through it. So like I told you at the beginning, it was just me, and it was my first time. So it's like I never had nobody to comfort me, you know what I mean, to coach me up on it. I had to like just figure it out at the end of the day, Rob. And when I say figured it out, I had to like watch some film. I had to break stuff down, how I'm doing this wrong, doing that wrong. Let's try this right. Let's do this right. You know, I put it together by myself. And at the end of the day, thank God for it. That's all I can tell you. But I was able to get through adversity. I feel like it can't get it go back to my mom, my family, you know, from a family, you know, just working and grinding, man, never quitting no matter what. So that's why that was my mindset. And I'm one of those type of guys, I'm never going to quit. I'll die before I quit. And I mean that.
Man, you got a little David Goggins in you, man. You know who that is?
Nah, coach me up.
Man, David Goggins, basically, he's this Navy SEAL guy who was basically like was fat, 300 pounds.
Okay.
Just got fed up with himself.
Okay.
You know, said I'm joining he had to go through SEAL school like 3 times. And at one time with like a broken leg, like just he taped up every day. He became like this ultra marathon runner. Like he runs like 100-mile races, 200-mile races. he has the world record for most pull-ups. Like he's done like 15,000 pull-ups straight. I mean, the dude is just a beast, but he always comes back to like exploring your brain, like just really like looking to the other side of like that suffering, like, and he really like. He gets pissed off when people try to avoid suffering. Like, you try to avoid suffering to him, like he'll go AWOL, man.
I love it. I love it.
I think you would really enjoy learning more about that, brother.
I can't do no 100 pull-ups, but I do work out still every day. Like I tell my athletes, I work out every day. I'll get up. I'm pretty wake up like around 4:45 in the morning. I go to bed pretty early though, but I wake up early. I go work out in the morning, go like for like a 45-minute run. But that's just my way to start my day and my mental, just to get away from everything. You know what I mean? Just to get it right. And do a little bit of other things, but that's it. That's my routine every day. Okay. And I always tell my athletes that I feel like I can tell a guy, like I know they compete, they want to race against me, all that. Like I tell them, I know you can't beat me. There's no way. Because I see how you are at practice. You quit on this workout. I know I'm a person I'm willing to take it to somewhere mentally you ain't willing to take it there. I know you're not, from what you showed me at practice. But I feel like when you can get to that mental right there, man, anything is possible. Anything.
Oh man, that's solid right there. That's pretty good, man. All right, so going past that, when you back on the field and when you were doing all of that, like you balling out and everything, you're doing this while you're doing the track thing, like and balancing both of those and the school and everything like that. What was like what was your aspiration like at that point? Are you still trying to go to the league, or are you just trying to just have the best experience at LSU as possible? Or
I won't lie, we'll go back to it. So freshman year went good for track. Every year went good for track. You know what I mean? From freshman, sophomore, junior year. Because the junior year I made the Olympic team. Okay. So all that was going good. Football wasn't going that good. People don't realize it got to a point to where with football, I feel like I should have got kicked off. I'm be honest with you. I was doing some real stupid stuff back then because I feel like I had the poor me's. I wasn't playing, whatever. And, Coach Saban was my coach.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, too. I appreciate him as well. I know we probably didn't get along and we had our differences with each other. But like I said, we were able to hash things up about 2 years ago. We got to talk like, man, but we're good now. But, I just feel that I wasn't playing. So I felt like I should have been playing. And I had some opportunities. I didn't take advantage of them. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you with that. Yeah. So I feel like I couldn't be like, I can't have the poor me's when I didn't take advantage of my opportunities. So I was kind of fed up with football, and I was like, you know what? I'm finna just go pro and track. I ain't playing football no more. I'm good, whatever. Well, make a long story short, Coach Saban left, right? Yeah. After he told us he wasn't going to leave, Then the new coach came, Coach Miles, Les Miles. So I was like, you know what? Let me go. He wanted to meet with me,
Yeah.
So basically, my mindset is I got to go in here and hear this, whatever. It don't matter. I ain't playing football no more. I'm finna go pro and track. I'm good. I ain't thinking about that. Yeah. So I go see Coach Miles, and we had like a man-to-man conversation, and he just told me about everything he heard about me, all this here. But I don't know you, Benny. I just got here, so I can't go by all that. What I don't know. I'm just going off what I hear. So he basically was like, I want you to come back for your senior year and play football. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, Coach, I don't know, man. I done been through all this crazy stuff. I really don't know if I really want to play anymore,
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, I understand that. Well, you need to just think about it and figure it out, but I do want you back on this field. So I was like, okay, so let me ask you this, because I know in the past, we had a lot of this crazy stuff going on, whatever. Will I be able to, will the best four play? That's my question, Coach Miles. You know what I'm saying? He was like, the best four will play, Benny. I said, you sure about that? He said, yes, sir. I promise the best four receivers are going to be playing. All right. Well, if that's the case, I want to go like this summer and go run some track meets. I want to go overseas and run some track meets and come back. And when you let me go do that, I come back. I'll come finish my senior year season for you. You know what I mean? But it's like, well, if you do that, I can't promise you'll be starting. I'm like, I don't have to start. You just said the best four are going to play.
Yeah.
And I guarantee I'll be in that best four, And make a long story short, I went back that senior year, it worked out, and I got drafted, man. So that was a blessing.
Man, that's what's up, man. Dog, that's what's up, man. Hey, man, I just read his book, The Alchemist, man, and he talk about following your personal legend, and you've told like 4 stories of following your personal legend.
Man.
In just one conversation. That's awesome, man.
But I had good coaches too, though. So it's like, I know in life you're going to have coaches you don't like, but at the same time you're going to respect them. So it's like, Coach Saban, I might didn't like him, but to this day, I respect that man. Taught me so much, man, and I use it today in my everyday life.
What do you think it is about? I'm always intrigued with it's one thing like to win because I work harder than you, but when you're competing against other programs that recruit, that practice, that do the same schedule, I always wonder what makes one guy so much better. Like what makes a Coach Saban? able to have these dominant programs? Like,
I think with him, I think it's just the structure and discipline, man. That's one of the main things. You got to have structure, you got to have discipline, and I think that comes in our everyday life. But I feel like he teaches that at an early age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And holding you accountable. That's another thing too I like about that with him. You know, I feel like most of these days, some kids don't want to be held accountable. You know how that goes, and I feel like that's one thing that he teaches, you know, and when you get everybody buy into that system, from the athletes and the coaches, you know what I'm saying, from administration, the rest is history, man.
Just structure. And that part is still intriguing to me because I'm like, Ole Miss ain't practicing structure and discipline. Arkansas ain't practicing structure and discipline. You know, like.
Yeah, it's a little different. Now, don't sleep on my school now. LSU, we still family now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like when he came to LSU, we had that motto, you know what I'm saying?
Just had a motto.
He had that motto. And I think once Coach Miles came, he was able to inherit some of the Coach Saban athletes, you know what I mean? But for the most part, he inherited some of Coach Saban athletes. But after we all left, Coach Miles took it to the next level as well. So
no doubt, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, the league, man. Now I believe were you on the Bengals with a guy named Eric Henderson?
Yeah, he here.
Yeah. That's
Icky.
man. Yeah, Icky. That was my good buddy at high school in New Orleans.
And Carl, man. Me and Icky was together. Icky, good dude, man. Small world, huh?
Bennie Brazell.
Yeah, that's him. That's how he talks. You know, it's kind of funny you say that. You know, when I first got the Baton Rouge, LSU, it was different because of the slang. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one thing I can't. People, when I know we're from Houston, right? Oh, you H-Town, baby, huh? You coming down? Hey, look, man, I am from Houston, but that ain't me. I don't talk like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody in Louisiana, the slang is different some areas. So I never forget, one of the guys asked me, was like, you going to the stadium? Yeah. I was like, am I going to the stadium? Yeah. So it's like he asked me a question, but he answered my question. So it was kind of confusing.
Man.
Just the lingo different, you know how it is.
Yeah. Man, I remember the first time I was out there and I said something and the dude said, bruh. And I said, what you mean? Like, They were like, bruh. I never heard someone make a sound to agree with me.
My God. Coach is super different, but it's pretty cool. But like I said, that was the first time I see a guy ask me a question and answer it for me. That was so weird.
You going to the stadium? Yeah.
You going to the stadium? Yeah. Okay. You going out to the party tonight? Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. So, I guess that's like like that Han song.
Yeah.
But that's what's up, man. So all right. So now when you start, what was your experience like, man? Just being a NFL player.
Man, those quick 2 years went by so fast. It was a great experience. I enjoyed the process of it. It was just a great experience, man. I can't complain. I feel like I should have how about it? I could have enjoyed it a little bit more, if that makes sense. I feel like I didn't enjoy while I was in it, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Now that I look back on it, I didn't do enough. You know what when I say do enough, I didn't experience it all the way like I should have did. I should have did more things, like go to the Super Bowl, go do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't do some of those type of things. I kind of just lay low and just chill. So
that's funny you say that, man, because when I look at my life, sometimes like when I look, the one regret I have is kind of not being in the moment. Like even as a freshman during football season, man, I hope I can make it basketball during the basketball season, man. I hope, next year I can do this and be ready for like I was always ahead of the moment instead of being like, yo, I'm a freshman. Yeah, I'm a freshman at Westbury having a great time.
I totally agree. And when you say that reminds me of like just going to the Olympics. Like went to the Olympics after I finished it, I had to go right back to football camp. You know what I mean? So it's like you're going so fast, so I feel like sometimes you weren't able to really enjoy the moment, being so young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that goes with, as far as maturing and the older we get, we kind of see those things. I think when you're young like that, we're not thinking about those type of things in that moment. You know how that goes.
Let me ask you this, man. What are you more proud of? Being able to say, hey, man, I was drafted, played in the NFL, or I was an Olympian?
Both. I'm happy. That was a great accomplishment, both of those, man. But like sometimes I feel like people don't realize. I feel like I was so young when I made the Olympics, right? So it's like I forget about that sometimes, and I think I was just happy to be there. If that makes sense. I was going into my junior year in college when I made the Olympic team, so I think I was just happy to be there. I didn't enjoy that moment like that. I was too young, but I think I'm proud of all that. But if anything, I feel like I'm proud of, man, being from Houston, Westbury, and Fundren, graduating high school, graduating college, man. I think that's. I'm proud of that. That's what I'm pretty proud of.
Nah, that's what's up,
Big
man.
Time.
That's what's up, man. And you, man, I always say, man, like Jay-Z say, man, we say my homie Street told me finish your breakfast. A lot of us, you know what I'm saying? Like you finish your breakfast. Like you handle business and you, man, and sealed the deal. Got the degree, graduated. and now you giving back at the same place, man. So what got you into coaching? Was that something you knew that you always wanted to do?
No, it just kind of happened. Basically, after I finished everything, I had a microfracture on my left knee. So I was doing like rehab and everything on that. So it got to the point to where like, I got to figure out what's next. You know what I mean? So make a long story short, opportunity came. And my coach had basically, my head coach at LSU right now, Coach Dennis Shaver, gave me a shout. Like, hey, would you be interested in, because the assistant coach had left. Mm-hmm. And I sat back and thought about it and prayed about it. I'm like, man, you ain't. Might as well just go for it. Let's go for it and see how it works. And like I said, I've been there for 8 years.
Wow, man, that's what's up, man.
Mm-hmm.
When you with track and field, I guess, man, because I always go back to this, man. I just think it's so much. I'm just mad that I wasn't able to be as fast as y'all, man. I did the same drills. That really bothers me, man. That I did them same drills, man. It wasn't getting them results, man. So I got a little beef with track, man. But like with track, how much does coaching like? How much impact can coaching have on, let's say you got a guy who's, out of high school, he's running a 49 400, he's coming to your program. Mm-hmm. Like, is there, what difference in coaching is, can one program get him to 46 and one only get him to 47.5? Like, based on the drill? Like, what is it based on?
I think it depends on the program. So one thing about LSU, we're more of a speed school.
Okay.
We're about sprinting. Speed. You know what I mean? So when it comes, basically at LSU, our 400 guys, right? Like you just said, they're able to run the 100, 4x1, 200. So you know what? They can run everything up to the 1 through the 4. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Some programs is different. So I know, like if I say like a Baylor school, right? Mm-hmm. They're more of a 4-8 program, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So we're more speed, sprint program, and they're more like a little bit endurance, if that makes sense. Okay. So I think it's a little different in those situations. But it depends on the programs. And I'm not knocking that program at all. I mean, everybody's program is different. Some work for people. It just depends on the right one.
Okay. Nah, man, that's what's up, man. Mm-hmm. So, I guess your trajectory now and the direction that you're going in, is the evolution of Bennie Brazell. Is it for you to take this to, you potentially being a head coach or running a program? Do you want to,
That's possible one day, being a head coach. I got a couple options out there, man. I'm just trying to weigh it out and just go from there. I don't really look at it like that. I just go one day at a time, Rob, and just go from there. But at the same time, you don't want to get complacent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
I just think you just got to take it like that. That's how I look into it. But I even thought about, in the future, even getting in administration.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, it's plenty of other things, man. Like I said, I got options, just taking it one day at a time and just figuring it out.
No, most definitely, man. And yeah, definitely the administration, one thing I've been trying to bring into 2019, which it's a bad habit I fall back on a lot, is just removing limitations from how I view myself.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Of course.
Sometimes, I'm happy where I'm at, but sometimes when I start only dreaming of myself in this position, I'm like, hold up, man, let me take these, I can be, to your point, administrator, like, hey, you know what, I can run a startup that's that has 50 employees.
Of course.
Like, it's not going. It doesn't have to require me being in this role forever. So,
yep.
Man, you got anything you practice or anything like that just to stop you from falling in that complacency?
So, like I said, work out every day. The 45-minute jog. So basically, every morning I wake up. Of course, thank God every day for just letting me wake up and see another beautiful day. And I just go brush my teeth after that. And I look in the mirror. And I just smile at myself. Like, he let a guy like me wake up and see another day. Another guy from Westbury and Fundra, Greenhouse Patio. Thank you, God. So make a long story short, after I do that, I meditate as well. So like I'll go downstairs, drink my tea in the morning time. I got like a little meditation area at my crib. Just sit there and just clear thinking. You know what I'm saying? Nothing at all, just quiet and just get my thoughts together for that day, man. And just take it like that, man, every day.
Man, your morning ritual is fire.
Yeah, and I'm a pretty positive person. That's another thing too. I'm very positive. I'm not a negative person at all. I only like hanging with people that's negative, be honest. I only want to be around negative people, be honest with you. And that goes for friends and family. So I'm so positive on that aspect. And one thing too, I think I come along this whole time, is patience. I think growing up, nobody in my family really had patience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think when you go through everything we went through in adversity, you learn so much. And then especially when you dealing with athletes and kids and stuff like that, you got to learn patience. And that's one thing I think I got so much better at, you know what I'm saying? So we all was a work in progress in some kind of way.
Nah, most definitely, man. Yeah. Well, yo, man, I appreciate your time, man.
No problem, man.
Man, you got a lot to share, man.
Yes.
Hey, man, any high school speedsters out there, man, You know, you're looking for a program, man, where the coach ain't all in the video.
Come to Death Row.
Yeah, we got
Classic.
Hey, man, the first coach to have on this podcast, man. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man, we got a lot more you got to get on here, man.
Nah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, man, and I hate, it's weird to tell your peer you're proud of them. You know what I'm saying? Like